Welcome to the podcast. We're here to cover everything, including cash, money, motivation, mindset, and more. We'll be talking to interesting people doing epic things, covering topics aimed to help people on a similar path. Hopefully, we can extract some interesting and engaging stories and information from our guests in the process. Today's guest is Nathan Paddison. Coming from a tough upbringing, Nathan is a self-taught, up-and-coming artist whose artworks are sold all over the world. Nathan grew up originally in Guildford before moving to the New South Wales Central Coast, where he was exposed to a significant amount of violence, crime, and gang culture. A trained martial artist, kickboxer, Nathan spent over a decade of his adult life incarcerated in some of Australia's toughest prisons. He's since reformed himself to become a rising star in the art world, with galleries and sales all over the world. His story is an inspiration, particularly to those who have come from a tough background or humble beginnings. He's risen above his environment to create a business around his artworks that is on track to be worth in the millions. A true Australian success story and an example of the human ability to become the architects of our own lives and our own environment. Nathan is here today to share his story with us. Nathan, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Liam. Good to see you, mate.
I've been thinking about how to kick this one off. It's interesting because obviously I've written a whole bunch of notes.
Yeah.
And I think your story, I think there's a comfortability given the time we've known each other, and since reconnecting on a similar path, I think we share similar ambitions and similar goals. And I always say that you attract a lot of what you are in this world, you know, and if you're on a similar path and you kind of see yourself up here, I think in general you attract other people who see themselves in that light.
Like that energy.
100%, bro.
It attracts,
even in this room, like we were sitting out there before, might
Yeah.
even take over this studio, set a little art room out there, and I'll get a little study out there. But yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, you attract that type of energy.
Yeah.
And I think that attraction kind of manifests in what people do, whether it be art, whether it be sport, whether it be business, kind of, whatever people are doing. So it's kind of like I've written out all these notes, but we kicked this off before we came into the pod, and it just made me think, like, I feel that if we just chop this up organically, I feel that kind of your life story is segmented into several components, and pull me up if I'm on the wrong track with this. I feel like you've got,
I've lived
correct.
You
have, and I'm so glad you mentioned that because, if we chop this up into your formative years, let's say from Guildford to the Central Coast, and then we say, let's call it the chaos years, which is, the Central Coast and some of the antics that happen there. And then we move to the kind of darker years of incarceration and whatnot. And then you come out through those lighter years of you found your passion, and full credit to you. I've followed this journey. For anybody that doesn't know, Nathan's art has recently exploded. Apart from the fact that it's fucking awesome art, and I've just purchased a small amount. I want to give a shout out, but also I selfishly want to buy more of it, so I'm kind of torn between that. But I think it resonates with people because it's very organic and it's real, and you can tell the way the colors pop off and the characters and the themes and even the inclusion of these like little designer logos. There's this this subconscious ambition behind what's being portrayed in the artwork. Like, I remember I just checked in after, I was checking with people from school and what everyone was up to. And I saw your IG and I saw some of these works. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I was like, everybody should, this is good art. Like, I want to look at this.
Yeah.
I want to see what the next creation is going to be. And you were only at a few hundred followers at that point, and you were just doing this from home.
Yeah.
Fast forward, like, it must not have even been 12 months. Now you're at 50, 60,000 followers. You're in galleries on several continents.
Yeah. Every continent except Antarctica.
Any penguins want to sell some art? Listen out, we've got Nathan in the studio. But yeah, man, it's like it's fucking incredible. And I'm sure people tell you this, but I'm not sure if you even get enough credit, especially considering where you've come from. So, where I think a good place to start is, if that concept of you've lived these multiple lives is true, which I think it is, let's just chop this up into 4 components and just talk a little bit about each part. So the formative years were Guildford, your 3 siblings, mum, age of 10,
Dad
father
left at 10,
left at 10. Yep. And then Why don't we kind of just talk through, you know, what was childhood like? What was Guildford like? You know,
I said,
how was life there?
I loved it. You know, we just had our fibro home or whatever that my dad bought. But
likewise.
So yeah,
you kick a hole in the wall.
Yeah, played for Guildford Owls, like the league. Like when I was little, from 6 to 13, I played for them.
Yep.
Started boxing when I was 8 with my dad. I remember a kid at school threw me up against a tree and I cried.
Right.
And I was usually the smallest kid in my grade or close to, you know.
Yeah,
my dad took me straight to boxing to
I didn't know
defend
your dad
myself.
got you into boxing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was he a fighter himself?
Yeah, so he's had a few fights boxing and
right.
that, yeah. And he was a front row forward.
Yep.
Like he played in A grade until he was like 52 or something, like playing with 25-year-olds.
Yep.
He recently went overseas with Australia with the seniors.
Oh, wow.
Played for the seniors.
That's awesome.
Australian Rugby League, yeah.
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 So your dad got you into boxing, tossed you in the ring.
Yeah. He didn't really toss me in the ring. So because he took me boxing, but he'd come like, you know, once a week or, you know, and then it got further and further. But I learnt to box, and I remember the first time it came out was in school. So I laughed at this kid who was like the biggest kid in the grade, you know.
Yeah.
He's ran over to me, swung this big punch. I ducked and just went bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And then he's like taken off, you know. He realised he couldn't hit me. And then I remember thinking, wow, like I just bashed the biggest kid in school, you know.
Primary school?
Yeah, primary school.
Yeah.
I think I was in year 4 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it motivated me so much because everyone started to think, wow, look at you, Nath, look at you, you know. And that was the first time I think I realised that fighting could bring me respect, or I thought it was respect, you know.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's intoxicating when you get a little taste of power.
Yeah, and the power. Yeah.
There was a really good quote. I can't remember who said it. It might have been Oprah. I don't know. But whoever said it's a good one. It says, money and power makes you more of what you already are, you know? And I think just for your case, just knowing you at a personal level, I think deep down you've got that protective instinct. You know? And I don't know whether or not that comes from your sisters or your mum or your family or where it comes from, but it's something I certainly understand, being the oldest of 4 boys.
Yeah. Well, I was the oldest boy in the house.
Yeah. So I think maybe I think perhaps a lot of this brings that out in you, you know, because one of my mentors always taught me, which always stuck with me, and it's similar to your story. He said, never punch down. He said, never ever punch down, only punch up. Yeah. If someone's small, what do you give a fuck? What do you got to do that for? Life's already made them small. You know what I mean? Life made them small, and you got to hit them in the face. He's like, punch up. If someone bigger than you is trying to be, you know, this, that, whatever, he goes, always punch up. And I've noticed in your stories and even in your life, you've been punching up your whole life. Yeah. To be honest, you know,
100%,
you never had anything handed to you.
Nah.
You know, I've never heard a story where you've gone and like harmed some small person.
Yeah.
It's always like multiple people. Yeah. It's always bigger individuals. Yeah. You know, like
I just fed on the power, and because I was so off my head.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I'd think, you know, I'd want to do everything by myself.
When you were younger?
Yeah. Right. I'd feel like I was weak if I called someone to run in, or you know, even boys would, oh, I'll come with you, stay in the car, bro.
Really?
Bang, I'll walk in, you know,
So
there's 5 boys in there. And I'd power trip so much.
Yeah, right.
They just had like a fear of me just because of my name. Right. And I'd just sit on the couch and tell them what to do, go get this, go get that, you know. Like it was just, I just power trip like that, you know. I'd put myself in the most vulnerable position.
Yeah.
And make people do what I want, you know.
I feel you. Yeah. And do you find
and I feel like, you know, like,
yeah.
Like I could sit down and make these guys go get this, go get the money, go get this, you know, give it to me and I'll walk out, the boys are in the car. Yeah. I just fed on the power, I just loved it. Yeah.
And no, this is good, bro. I want to tie that into and we'll go forward and then we'll come back again. Yeah. But did that kind of tie into prison in the sense that like that power was used against you in the sense that because you got put in like solitary? Yeah. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but like, you know, you're a trained martial artist, you're a smart individual. Yeah. Like, do you feel that was used at that time to put you in a harsher environment?
Yeah, I think because they know I'm calling the shots in the yard too. You know, so everything that happens, if something happens in the yard, like 2 people go over there and fight without me knowing about it. You know, usually some boys, if they want to get something, oh Nathan, I want to get this guy. All right, yes or no. You know, like what did he do? You know,
it's a proper shot calling environment.
Yeah. So and they know that. You know.
Yeah.
But in saying that, like, two people go over there and have an argument over the phone and start punching on, I'd still get the blame for it.
Yeah,
because,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So you really got treated as like the CEO of that environment.
I can't stop impulsive stuff happening, like these. Yeah.
So you would get blamed for that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I remember at Park Lee.
Yeah.
So there's a guy. He came. He'd jumped one of the boys at another jail.
Yep.
We rocked up, come in the yard. Thought he was sweet. I remember the boys hung a sheet up.
Yeah.
So they walked out with the sheet over them.
Yeah.
5 of them went in the cell. 1 comes out with the sheet, so you don't know who's got the sheet. Climb the
Seriously?
ladder. Yeah, this is in Park Lee Area 1.
How old were you at this time?
Climb the ladder. Oh, this is like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
8 years ago. You climb the ladder, put the sheet up.
Yeah.
There's only one camera that looks straight down the hallway.
Yeah.
So now it's blocked.
Yeah.
There's like 10 people behind that sheet, and that guy's down the end. He's been given a cap of butte to go have a shot.
Yeah.
So he's thinking like he's sweet,
Yeah.
We're just giving him a cap so he goes in the cell and stays there. And I've gone out. I've stayed on the camera, smiled at the camera, did push-ups in front of the camera. I got the blame.
Seriously?
You know what I mean? He got stabbed like 30 times or something.
This is in his cell. And he lived?
Yeah, he lived, yeah. Yeah. But it's because there was 8 of them, and he pretty much had to walk the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, to try and get out.
How many times?
We were locked in there, so he wasn't getting out. Yeah.
How many times did you get stabbed in there?
I got stabbed 9 times in the back, yeah.
For some reason I thought it was 13. I don't know where I got that number from. I mean, after 8, it doesn't really matter. How did that feel?
Oh, I didn't feel it at the time.
The adrenaline?
Yeah, just adrenaline. I remember in my head it was just my spine,
You're hoping that it didn't get your spine?
Yeah, because I know I've seen people get hit in the spine before and just drop, bang, you can't move, They
don't come back from that?
Hey?
They come back?
I've seen people come, it's just if you get hit in the wrong spot, sometimes, especially in the spine,
Yeah, like or paralyzed sort of thing.
Yeah, so that's all I was thinking, They did hit my spine, but it didn't
really
go in properly, There's just a little scar on it, so it must have been superficial.
Right.
But I was on the phone.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any of it stay in there, or?
Nah.
No souvenirs?
No. Punctured lung, that's it, yeah.
It's got the lung and your spine.
Yeah.
Fuck, from behind.
Lung. So I got twice in the back of the head.
This is in the same incident?
Yeah. So I got 1, 2 there straight away,
yep.
and 1 in this shoulder, like the back of the shoulders, and 1 in the back. I think that punctured my lung. And then I've turned this way, because that's where I felt 2. And I've turned straight away, and them 2 have gone bang straight into the same spot. So they've fallen over each other. If it was only 2 of them, I would have been on them,
Right.
I've turned the other way, I couldn't see anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, shit, so I don't know who the other guy is,
Yeah.
I took off straight to the front of the yard and just put my back to the fence.
Yeah.
Just stood there, the 2 come up. But I knew once I faced them, they were hesitant, because they know I can fight.
These are the same 2 who just stabbed you in the back?
Yeah, and the other one's down the ends of the yard.
And you're face to face with these guys?
Yeah. So they're both
with
there
wounds
going,
in your back?
Yeah. They're both there going like, rah, rah.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. And then I seen this one try and step in, and I've just gone, bang, hit him, dropped him. But then this cunt's gone, bang, 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 got me in the back again.
Again?
Yeah, and I've done like a spin.
Yeah.
As soon as I felt my back, I've done like a spin and back straight up again. Put my back on the fence,
Yeah.
The squad's come running in, just shooting the canisters, the gas. I just see all this gas here. I'm like, fuck, I duck down, I can just see their feet.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as I duck, I see their feet coming in, because I've still got my eyes on them, I'm not just ducking this smoke. They tried to come in, and I've just jumped up and started to throw a kick, and they've backed right up.
Yeah.
And then I've just gone back down again, trying to get under the gas. And then the squad's like, stay there. I didn't know, but I was just red, like covered, like just red from head to toe. And because I'd been ducking down, I had blood all over my face,
Did
my
you get
head.
the footage from this, or do they keep that? Do they keep the footage of this? Like
it'd be on camera, yeah. But because they did it on camera and they got charged.
Yeah, no, but I guess what I mean is, like, do the prisons keep it confidential, or do you get it as part of? Oh no,
sometimes they put it on the news. Like I've seen boys that have got stabbed in the docos and that, but
you know how like
they don't give it to me, no.
Yeah, because that's what I'm going to say. Because if you let's say for example, walk down Elizabeth Street, and you get shivved 20 times in the back, as a victim of that crime, you would get that as in the brief of evidence.
Oh no, the offender gets it.
Oh really?
Yeah, so they'd get it.
Because I've seen cases, we won't say who.
Unless you ask for it,
Yeah.
If you ask for it, you could probably get it because you want the same brief.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because I've seen cases where the perpetrator, allegedly, gets the same brief.
Yeah.
But you would have got. Did you get it as a victim in that? Why is that?
Well, so
not that you would want it, but like I'm just curious.
So what happened? They
probably
the police didn't even speak to me. They only spoke to me at the hospital.
Right.
And they tried to get me when I was out of it.
Really?
Because which was good. It was good to know that even when I'm out of it, my natural reaction was to do this. You know.
Yeah.
They've come and they're like, I was trying to tell them to give me more ketamine because, bro, I was dreaming and like it was mad. Yeah, I loved it, and I was like, as soon as I woke up, they're like, just tell us if you got pain. I'm like, pain, and they're like, where? And then I remembered I got stabbed in the shoulder, so I was like, shoulder.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I didn't even realize my back. You know. Like,
yeah.
And then I just heard the cops are going, wait, give me 1 minute before you give it to him. I need to ask him. He's like, Nathan Paddison, do you know this person and this person?
Right.
They only knew of two of them at the start. They must have.
Right.
And I said, yeah, they're my good mates. Smiled at them.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
And then they're like, I said, no, they definitely didn't do it. I said, they're my mates. They were trying to help me.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And then I was like, they gave me the ketamine and I was out again.
But
then they never come after that to ask me a question.
Oh, so did the whole right? Okay.
But I wrote letters to these guys through other people and said, listen, plead not guilty.
Yep.
I know it's on camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
so
if it's not good, I'll come to court and help
basically
you, and then we can fight in court.
So it just goes away after that, like because there's no what do they call it? No witness. So
no. Well, they all pled guilty.
Right.
I was trying to get them to plead not guilty so I could go to court.
Okay.
Because the officers had put non-associations between us.
But can I just say,
and that was the only chance I could get them if I went to court.
Yeah. But isn't it funny? Because like if you look at human behavior, I really feel like certain people have got certain things in them, and some people have got fucking horrible things in them.
Yeah.
You and me know that.
Yeah.
There's some people have fucking horrible things in them, but some people have good in them. And when I talk about that protective instinct that I think you have in you, that's even evident in this story.
Yeah.
You get jumped by 3 of these guys, and you're still out there trying to like, you know, granted, I'm sure what was going to come after would not have been pleasant, but like that, you know, desire to still want to like push it aside.
Yeah.
Even though you're going to deal with it yourself, I think that speaks to your character. Yeah. Granted, it is the rules in your world at that time, but you know, not everybody would do that. Yeah. Some people would just say, "Look, and there's Tom, there's James, and there's Darren, and that's it. See you later."
Yeah.
Off to protection I go. So I think that says a lot about your character, and also I think it's interesting that you know, you knew to put your back against the wall. You knew to keep your eyes up. Don't put your head down. Is that from your, like, do you think that's just from the street fighting days? Or is that from your martial arts sort of days? Or
like whenever anything gets intense, I'm like, I can think clearly.
You can feel it. You can feel that in the room. When it's like that?
Yeah. And I know, like, I'm very confident with myself when it comes to like, you know, a violent situation or something.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's just like.
Can I ask, do you think when it comes to like combat or violence or whatever it is, do you think generally speaking it's the confident ones who don't start trouble and it's the weaker ones who will go out and try to start some drama?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Noticed that a lot,
Have you seen that in your world?
Yeah. So my old trainer, I've noticed Steve McKinnon, he's 5-time heavyweight world champion, Muay Thai kickboxing. Mm-hmm. But so he was my trainer, my friends and that. But he's so quiet, so humble, and I noticed that with all the fighters, the higher up ones with the belts and that, they're all as humble as, you know.
Bro, you know what I've always said? I've said some of the nicest, most humble, down to earth people I know could murder someone in a ring. Yeah. And some of the worst people I know couldn't put a glove on a fly. Yeah. Because it's just like...
It's them ones that yell and that.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. As soon as someone starts telling you, all right, come on, let's just get this out of the way.
You're just trying to intimidate them so they don't fight you.
Exactly.
If you want to fight them, fight them.
Man, it's the ones who are just quietly sitting there. Yeah. They're the one. And also, I think, I don't know what your thoughts are on this. Maybe it's different in your teens and your 20s because you think you know everything about the world. I think we both do at that age. I think everyone does. You know, the more you see in terms of like, combat, whether it's sports or like, you know, the kind of life that you lived, do you feel that like the more that you see of that world, the more you kind of walk through the earth and you just like, just don't fuck with people? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because like, even if there's like some bum on the street carrying on, just leave them alone. Because at the end of the day, if you decide to antagonize, that bum could be a washed up heavyweight champion. You'd be out in one hit. You know what I mean? So I felt like the more I encounter people from that world, number one, the better they are at their practice, the more confident, humble, and good people they are. Just in general, is what I've seen. But the one thing, kind of going deeper into because part of my influencer talent management business, we sponsor a lot of UFC fighters. Yeah. And the more I encounter, the more I'm just like, you just learn just not to mess with people in the world, you know, because you just never know.
You never know,
right?
Yeah, it was like that with the Asians. So when I was younger, I was in Tsinghua. It's a Chinese triad gang.
You were like 25, 26?
Oh no, like 60. I was just one of the younger ones that you know, these older boys get to do everything. Yeah,
I remember that story that you were saying about the where they.
But they're like that, you know. They'd always say, we weren't allowed to touch any Asians,
right?
Because you don't know if they're from another group. You don't know if they're from your group.
Yep.
And when I'd go to meetings,
like
you go to the restaurant 2, 3 in the morning, like the whole place is cleared out. The workers have stayed back to cook a buffet for us.
What suburbs was this in?
Chinatown.
Right. Yeah. And you would have been
16, 17,
really?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'd go up because we'd be like bodyguards for our Dalo, which means boss.
Right.
We go up there and just like the normalest Asians you've ever seen, just sitting there. You know, you just walk past them in the street and think nothing.
Yeah.
So that's why they got us make sure you never touch them. You know, because
because you just don't know.
They never stand out. You know, they're gangsters, but they look like bookkeepers. You know.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
And you could be getting your own group too. You know.
Yeah, that's such a good point. How did it feel? Because like obviously most of your life has been like kind of more leadership driven. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Like how did it feel to kind of go from that kind of like I'm the bodyguard, I'm the muscle for this group XYZ to like I'm kind of in a point in my career, however you want to characterize it, where I call the shots. Like how did that feel to go from that kind of like, you know, underboss sort of life?
I think it was good that I hung around the Asians because like when I did get the PR in jail, it was more like everybody liked me because whenever I'd come to a wing, I'd make sure all the boys were sweet, you know? Like everyone gets high every day in there. Like if I'm in the wing, you know?
Yep.
People don't get picked on. People don't get stood over. It's just like, we check briefs. Make sure we know what everyone's in for, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And
but then I'll leave and then it's like, you know, someone else will be in charge of the wing and they're just like drug pigs or, you know, they'll take everything or they'll be like, oh, they've got no money, so they'll go and stand over someone like the freshie or something, you know?
Yep. Isn't it fascinating how it's like...
So I don't like that stuff, you know? I've always had karma in my head. Even though I've done bad things, I've always made sure that, you know, they've done something wrong. Yeah. Because I remember once I was at my mate's and he goes, oh, old mate's coming over. He's bringing a couple of vodkas of I. He's like, rah, we'll get it.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, yeah, sweet. What's he done?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I know he's all right. I said, bro, I can't take it off him if he's all right. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah,
like only putrid people, like, you know?
So
if he robs people, I can rob him. Like,
this is funny.
That's how I'd see it,
so
you
are
know?
you trying to say you refused to do over an individual because one of his mates set him up?
Yeah.
See,
because he was all right. He said he was all right.
Here's the thing. Look,
and then I ended up going out there, jumping in the car and being friends with him.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have this code though.
But what happened then? He gave me $100,000 tick list, Nelly, to go collect.
That's sad.
So like, I was like, bang. Imagine I took the 2 ockers, you know? Like,
oh my God. It's almost, man, listening to some of this stuff, it's almost like the whole underworld period of because we're really talking about a chapter.
Yeah.
This chapter, it's almost like...
I played a character there.
Yeah, you are, but you're almost like it's because I used to be in investment banking. It's almost like a corporate CEO type of thing, you know, where like you get a promotion opportunity to fuck someone over, and you refuse, and then the person that you wouldn't fuck over then promotes you above the other person. Do you ever see these parallels between like business and crime?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
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 The family home in Guildford. What was the context between when your dad left and you wound up on the Central Coast? Because for anyone, that's where we know each other.
So my dad left at 10, and we split. So we moved to I moved to Wentworthville with my mum. My dad stayed in the Guildford house. We lived there for 4 or 5 years. That's when I joined with Tsinghua and all that. And then my mum moved to the Central Coast with my brother.
Right.
And then I moved in with my sister in like Maryland, and then I started coming up there, and that's when I would have met you, and then I ended up like because I'd never been up there, you know. But once I started meeting people, I remember that one of the first times I went up, a group of the locals, you know, I'd always have boys with me, so I had 3 or 4 boys
from Sydney.
Yeah,
right.
And I think they'd hit someone, you know, and you could tell we were from Sydney, like the way we dress and, you know, our hair.
The way you carry yourself.
Yeah, and I remember a heap of them come out because that's how the locals are there in Terrigal, you know?
Yeah, of course.
You hit a local and then it's just like, whoom.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit.
It's kind of still like that,
yeah,
really.
Yeah, like they stick together, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really, I love that place.
Yeah.
But then I ended up pulling out a knife and chasing them and I remember walking back and I seen the same group.
Yeah.
And one of them come to talk to me, Scully. And he's like, bro, rah, explain the local thing and, you know, we should be friends and all that, rah, rah. And then I just started being friends with everyone up there.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was weird, you know, because I came up like with this gang thing in my head and I just walked around like I did in the city, you know?
Yeah.
Like as if you're not with me, you're against me, you know?
Yeah. I suppose it's a different culture.
It is. It's so different, the coast to Guildford, you know?
It's funny you mentioned because I read the book. Have you read My Brother's Keeper?
No.
The Abbotson's story.
No.
It's the history of the Bra Boys sort of background. But it was very similar to the culture on the coast of like, you know, everyone grew up in the same housing commission together. You know, everyone went to school together. Yeah. Everyone's jumping in when someone's getting jumped. Like it's a cultural bond. Yeah. And it
is good. Like that near the beach, I feel like everyone sticks together. You go to
and it's spread out enough as well.
And they're all just fighting each other.
Correct. I think you've nailed it. I think that density in Sydney where there's so many characters, you just don't know what to expect from who. Yeah. I think the coast is spread out enough so that when you're not on top of each other, like you can, they're a bit more cohesive. Yeah. How was the landscape in terms of just like crime, Sydney versus the coast? How did you differentiate the two? Was one worse than the other?
I had to calm down a little. No, Sydney's way worse. Yeah. Like I was walking around with machetes, fucking hand axes. Like I always had something like that on me. Yeah, everywhere on the trains in the city here.
Legit.
Like, I'd been in the city every night. We had machetes everywhere hidden.
Really?
Yeah, like it was just all blades and.
Isn't that crazy, man? Because it's like obviously I grew up in the you know, not the best areas of the coast, but some of the stuff I saw, man, I was like, that's some hectic stuff. Yeah. But to think that like you came from an environment that was worse than that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when I came up, there was a dealer up there. Yeah. And he was one of those, like, you know, screaming and all that. He was actually Leon's best mate.
Oh, yeah?
So he, something happened with him and I ended up rooting this girl that he liked. But he had a missus.
Oh, so, right.
And I didn't even know this bloke, you know. Yeah. So
was this just territorial sort of stuff?
Yeah, he's just
him?
Like, thinks he owns everything, thinks he owns the town, everyone's scared of him. Yeah. So he pulls up out the front of my house. He had someone in the car. I was with a mate, Stephen, from, I actually knew him from Wentworthville, but he moved up too. Yeah. And he goes, rah, about this chick. I'm going to fight you. I said, yeah, sweet, bro, I'll fight you down the road. And then my mate's like, oh, bro, I'll bet you $5,000 you can't hit Nathan before he knocks you out. So he's taken off. Right, and I'm like, fuck. So he's gone. I'm sitting downstairs later. Just me and Leon, my brother, and I think Josh were over in the other room playing pool. And I just hear all these footsteps. He's brought 2 carloads with him.
Wait, isn't that such a coast thing to happen though?
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, what the fuck? I can hear the stairs, you know, bang. The room just starts filling up. I'm like, shit, I'm in the corner. Yeah. Right. Because the coast taught me to chop up with a knife, I've got a knife right there, you know. In Sydney, everyone chops up with scissors.
So you got this primitive coastal chopping tools.
Yeah, I got my knife. Yeah. And then I'm like, fuck. I'm thinking, shit, this is my mum's house. You know, I'm nervous as fuck. There's 10 people in my room.
Oh, right, true. Because you went up there
I'm not from this area. Yeah, and then I'm like, the guy that's with me is actually, that's his best mate. Yeah. Meant to be his best mate. And I'm like, fuck. I said, Leon, tell him to go. I'll meet him down the road tomorrow. He's, I said, I'll fight him. Like, this is my mum's house, you know? I said, I don't want any trouble here. I'll get in trouble off my mum. Yeah. So then he's going, Leon said it, just go. He goes, I don't give a fuck. Went to jump up and pull his shirt off. Yeah. I just went fucking boom, straight in his gut.
On the coast?
Yeah.
In your mum's house? I
just jumped straight up, boom.
Is this in your mum's house?
Yeah.
Can I just say something? Isn't it funny how, like, your first thought isn't, I'm going to get flogged by 10 guys. It's, I'm going to get in trouble off my mum. Yeah.
Because I'm about to
Someone's sitting there with a machine gun. You're like, mum's going to ground me.
Yeah. Well, I ended up, so I've got him.
She wasn't home, I hope.
He just went, like, nah, she wasn't home, but he went white, like, boom. He's like, fuck. He's turned to run for the door. Yeah. And slashed across his back. He's gone to run through the door, which is like giving me time to catch him. Yeah. I grabbed him by the back of the neck, I remember, and just went bang, pinned him to the stairs, like face down. Yeah. And Leon actually saved me and him because I was going to snap it off in the back of his neck.
Jesus Christ, that's lucky,
like,
bro.
You know, yeah. That's like when lucky. I got into that rage and that power, it was just...
How old would you have been back then?
Boom. 18.
Fuck, does it ever like...
Yeah, but then I come back in because I chased him all the way out. But he was running fast.
Yeah.
When I come back in, I was like, fucking boom, ran straight back in. And then I'm like, where are they? And my brother's like, oh, bro, they're out the windows. Fucking, they're all
the
gone,
friends?
Bro. Yeah.
All 10 of them?
Yeah.
Oh. Does it ever make you like look back in hindsight and just think that like you're one swing away from like a 20-year whack?
Like that, when Leon grabbed me, like if I hit the back of his neck, there's a big chance he could, Yeah. I didn't know it was Leon, so I've gone bang, slash Leon there, like, or something, yeah. But when you're surrounded by 10 people and the only friend you got there's meant to be this guy's best mate, I'm like, shit,
So you're just thinking...
I just go, the fight or flight kicks
That's what
in,
I was about to say.
Yeah, and I just attack,
So that's really like proper, like pushed into a corner type of thing, Yeah, it's fascinating, man, because like, you think about it, like, one wrong swing, you could have been doing what, 20 plus, easy, with already like previous convictions and whatnot.
Look, some people I meet in there, the stuff they're in for, or the accidents, like you just think, fuck, you got so long for that. Like,
can I tell you something? Just like on the concept of I feel like kind of what we do now, because if you were to characterize it, it's just a couple of entrepreneurs, One's got more of a colourful background for mine, but like I wake up every day, man, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm alive, I've got a heartbeat, like I've got a pulse, I can stand up, I can walk, I'm not in a cage, I'm not in a grave, I'm like nothing hectic has happened today, nobody I love has passed away. I've just won the lottery. I've fucking won the lottery because I've woke up, nobody's dead, nobody's hurt, no one that I love's in trouble. I'm here, I can do whatever I want. It's a gift every day.
Every day.
And like,
so
like
you got another day. You get another day every day you wake up.
Bro, and I have people that work for me and they'll come to me with problems like, I didn't, or this was really hard, I don't know if I wanted to do it, or like, I've been working on this business and I just feel like really defeated today, so I'm just going to give up. I'm like, man, do you know how many people would fucking kill to have your problems?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's people who are sitting in a grave, people who are sitting in a cell, people who, the love of your life may have passed away that day. Those people would fucking kill to be you. Yeah. They would kill to have this problem. They'd kill to be in a position where their biggest problem is my business isn't working and I don't have the motivation today to make it work. Yeah. And so I try to tell people in this situation all the time, to your point.
There's people with nothing at all.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And imagine how much worse of a position you could be in. Yeah. So, like I said...
There was a guy on Facebook the other week. He wrote, I've had enough, I give up, nothing to lose, And I thought, oh, geez, that's the glass half empty, isn't it? So I was like, bro, what do you mean you got nothing to lose? I said, you're in the best position ever. I said, you've got everything to gain.
Yes.
I said, that's a better position to me. I've already gained some stuff, so I don't have everything, but you've got everything to gain, bro. You're a blank canvas, In
a DM or in the
No,
public?
Straight on the thing, and he was motivated straight away. He goes, you're a legend, brother. That's all I needed to hear.
Do you find, like, that's what I love about these...
Sometimes people just need to hear the right words. Worded the right way too.
That's
you know what I mean?
This is good charts. Did anyone do this for you? Has this just been in you? Like, you've just had this in you.
Yeah. It's weird when people say, "What's your inspiration?" or "How do you get?" It's me, but
is it the mirror?
I motivate myself.
Same. Yeah. Oh no,
I inspire myself. I just have absolute faith that I can do anything.
Yeah. You've always had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like anything that's been done, I can look at that person and say, if they done it, I can do it.
I want to jump over and just give you a fucking high five, bro. Just give you a big hug. This is good. This is good stuff. So how long was it from when your dad left to when you reconnected?
So he left. He'd come back every now and then, but maybe 10, 12 years ago, I stopped talking to him.
Oh, so you haven't spoke?
No. And then last year, I seen him at the fish and chip shop. He was visiting my brother in Taree, and I walked in.
Right.
Seen him randomly. Yeah, but now we're talking, and I just seen him the other day. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I love it.
That's
like,
good,
like my dad. Shit, if I talk too much about my dad,
nah,
I cry all the time, brother.
You're in a good space here. You're in good company.
He's like company. He's like my hero,
Oh, like, bro, that's beautiful. I love that.
As a kid, even now, like I could spend every minute of my life with him.
Oh, I love that, bro.
Yeah.
Can I
just love him so much. Yeah.
Bro, fuck. Now I want to give you a hug. Bro, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And can I ask you, how was because obviously you're an adult now. When you look back at that period, like how long was he absent from your life?
Oh, like he was absent for most of it, you know, he'd just pop up randomly. But
so from like 16 onwards or
yeah,
10 onwards?
say 15.
15 onwards,
15 to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15 to 20 years old.
And that was like when I was running away, I was with the gangs, I was just bashing everyone. Like, yeah.
So do you think he stepped back? Do you think that had
he
anything
wasn't
to
there.
do with it? Right.
He'd
so he didn't even know what you were going through.
But yeah.
And then the 10-year period, was that just life? Like you were just doing your own thing? Or was it from the incarceration?
Jail, drugs, incarcerated.
Right. That's hectic, bro. Yeah.
I know he visited me once, like one of my first sentences, and he actually crashed his car on the way home, which he'd never crashed in his life.
Really?
And he crashed on the way home, yeah. And yeah, he didn't come back after that to visit me.
Listen, bro, for what it's worth, I'll tell you right now, like, fuck, man, I know there's been some chaos, but he should be very, very proud of what you've done.
Yeah.
Now. Not only, obviously, you should be proud of what you've done, because that's most important.
Yeah.
But, I mean, man, if you know, if any of my kids had that motivation, that protective instinct, that good moral compass, the ambition, you know, the desire to want to create stuff, that's impressive, man. And not a lot of people have that, you know. So, you know, I'm sure he's very proud of what you've done, as should you be. And so, okay, so you've reconnected, so you talk now.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Has you met your little girls?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're all 5?
Oh, so between me and Beck, we got 5, but I've got a daughter that's 20.
What?
Yeah, 20.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, you and Beck have got 4?
And then Beck has 3, and then we've got 1 together.
Oh, so Beck's got 3, and okay.
And
so
I had 1, and then we had 1 together. Yeah.
Gotcha. So
and they're all girls, 5 girls. Yeah.
Do you know what's interesting, man? Like, do you believe in any higher power or anything like that?
Yeah.
Do you feel that, like, whether it's God or the universe or whatever, has like given you these girls to
it's
like
the universe,
bring you to a certain place in your life?
Because I'm very protective with girls.
Yeah.
I remember when we had Geordie.
Yep.
I thought I wanted a boy.
Yep.
You know, and that's just me. I was like, oh, yeah, he's gonna fight, and I'll raise him. He'll be a machine, and that, you know. But then we had a girl, and I was like, oh my God, I could not imagine having a boy now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just love her so much. Like, I get to protect her. She's like, you know, if I imagine I had a boy and I started like doing that stuff, there's no way I couldn't watch him fight. I'd have to jump in the ring and stand in front of him. Like, no way. I'd never have a.
I think also like.
But I'm very like. I think my energy is very relatable with girls because I get along with girls so well.
Do you know what's funny, bro? So do I.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that's a weird thing. I've always got along with girls.
I grew up. I got 2 older sisters. My mum.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. All right, and how old are your stepdaughters?
16. 14 and 6.
It's a big job, man.
Yeah.
It's a big job.
Yeah.
And your 20-year-old, you guys still talk?
Yeah, I spoke to her the other day, yeah.
How's she doing?
Yeah, she's doing really well, yeah. So she's living in Newcastle, but she's got a boyfriend. He's a professional
poor
surfer.
guy. How'd that meeting go?
No, I haven't met him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, how do you think it's going to go?
He'll be all right, yeah. But he's, he's a professional surfer, so... She's traveling with him and doing the surfing and all that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'll talk to you off the podcast, but one of my close friends, she's from a very famous surfing family. Oh, yeah, super famous. Actually, so weird, bro. Remember out there, I was telling you how a girl that's a friend of mine was on 60 Minutes. Yeah, she went on to make a significant amount of money. She's a millionaire, basically. Yeah, that was her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you the details after this, but a very famous surfing family. She's one of 4 girls and a boy, and they're all pro surfers. Oh, I see. Yeah. So your daughter's boyfriend will probably know who these girls are. It's just weird how the universe ties these stories into each other. So 5 girls, I think. Yeah, man, I think the universe gave you that for a reason, you know, because you've got that energy. And I think, you know, because you've got that protective nature, that's probably why you've got those girls. Yeah. How do you feel? Because, like, you know, you talked about if you had a boy, like, given the life you've lived, would you ever be worried if you had a boy that, like, that's what he could potentially get exposed to? Yeah?
I'd be so, like... And because I've got all the tattoos and the way I look, like he'd look up to me, you know, and I feel like he'd want to be like that, but it'd be hard to make him not want to be like that.
Well, I mean, the counter argument to that is, you know, what you've created now really is something to look up to. Yeah. Like the art that you create, you know, the way that you conduct yourself professionally with people, you know, even doing these podcast circuits, it's inspiring stuff, man. Yeah. So, I'll tell you another story. So part of my business, I mentor entrepreneurs. And I'll invest in startup businesses, and sometimes I'll mentor like little at-risk kids and stuff who are kind of going down the path we went down. And I was mentoring this dude, and he had this really cool candles brand. And you know, when you started your art, did people like talk shit or like right? Yeah. So this guy, he's a really good kid.
I was in jail painting. People think I lost the plot, and
but look at them. Where are you now? Crazy. Where are you now? Where are they?
Yeah.
So this kid, he's got this good candles business. So I'm mentoring him. I said I'll put a little bit of money in this. It's a good investment opportunity. And he goes to me one day. He goes, oh, I'm feeling really deflated because like one of my mates, because he's got tats everywhere all up his neck and stuff. He goes, mate's go, why are you going to start a candle business? And he's like, I don't know. I think they're good candles. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, but look at how you look. And just because he's got sleeve tats and stuff. Yeah. And he came to me and like, he was really upset. And I was like, bro, first of all, how the fuck are you supposed to look to be successful? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
What does a candle maker look like?
I was like, like if you've made $1 million, is the bank going to go, sorry, sleeve tat, we can't accept this revenue. Yeah. We're just going to have to decline this business.
We're have to ring everyone.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you bought it off the wrong person.
Yeah, and I'm like, can I ask you about this guy? Does he just work a 9 to 5? Yep. Does he have a girlfriend that he hates? Yep. Does he do the same shit every day? Does he hang out with the same people? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, people who don't want to see you succeed are projecting themselves onto you. So all this young entrepreneur wanted to do, and I reckon he'll do really well with this business, was start a candles business, because he's jacked up with tats and stuff. This other individual's talking down to him. Yeah. But I said, you got to just brush that off, because this is really a reflection of someone who's stuck in a job he hates. He's with a girl he probably hates. He has a life that he aspires to nothing. People who are successful aren't going to put you down like that, because they know what it feels like to try and fail and try and fail and get back up again. And so, I said to him, like, you can't, and you know this better than anyone, you can't let people say, just because you look a certain way, you can't be a certain thing. Yeah. You know? Yeah. 100%. And I'm sure you've encountered that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Can I ask, what are some stories where people have, like, doubted what you do, and how did it feel to create something that's doing so well that you're now looked up to?
Oh, I think everyone doubted me.
I never did.
Except for, but I was like, at the start, couldn't sell a painting. Took 3 months to sell a painting, $80 or something.
Yep.
Yeah, and everyone's telling me, oh, you got to get a job, you got to do this,
Yep.
But I just didn't care, Like, I was selling a bit of weed at the time to like support it, fund me. But it got me, I had to use part of my old life to bring into the new life to get my paints and all that shit. But once I got it, man, I put in so many hours, and everyone's attitude just changed dramatically, like as soon as I was successful. Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Okay, you've just nailed another thing. What is it they say? First, the people who question you ask why you're doing it. And they ask why you're doing it. And they ask you why you're doing it. Why are you doing it? And then when you've done it, the question changes. How did you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? Have you experienced that?
Yeah, 100%.
Did it motivate you to use that fuel?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it when anyone doubts me.
Yeah,
it's like, it just fires me up. I love it, yeah. Like some people get down or they hold on to it, but I just... Like any negative energy they give me, I just turn it straight into positive. I'm like, oh yeah, watch me,
Yeah. One of my mentors said, well, the first thing is never punch down. We talked about that at the start of the chat. But then, like, he always said to me, he said, if someone's in the gutter throwing feces and mud at you, he goes, why get down and throw it back at them? Yeah. You're going to get shit all over your arms. You're going to get mud all over your shirt and your Givenchy shoes or whatever. He goes, if they want to throw mud and shit, let them do it. Let them do it. He goes, if you throw it back, you're going to get dirt all over you. Yeah. He goes, just ignore it. Just let them live in the mud. Because, generally speaking, another good quote was that a lot of successful people I know say, I've never been hated by anyone that was doing better than me. And I'm sure you've seen that, and hate and negativity and jealousy and all these negative emotions, they flow bottom up. They never flow top down. You'll never see like a mentor or an investor or someone you can look up to behaving like that. So when I gave this guy a whole bunch of money, I gave him opportunity, I gave him a ticket out of this horrible life that he's in, didn't want a bar of it, and then said all these negative things. I just was kind of like, you know what, like the universe is going to deliver what it has to over here. And, granted, I didn't get anything out of helping this guy, but, I'm just going to keep doing the same. I'm going to let it impact me. Yeah. I'm I'm not going to let it change my behavior. I'm not going to refuse to help another person just because helping this person blew back.
Yeah.
And, you know.
I'm big on that. A lot of people hold on to this person did this so they won't help someone else.
Yep.
You know, but you can't put everyone in the box just because of one person. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it's a karma thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you believe big in karma.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
So I'm like, you know, just let the universe deal with it. Let karma deal with it.
I think that too, because I think, I had a big period in my life where things were bad.
Yeah.
So sometimes now when bad things happen, I'm like, it's just my karma, you know, still getting little bits of karma.
Bro, it's funny you say that because I've had the same thing before. I'm like, fuck, you know. But
the only way to beat it is, I think, like, say, you know, I had that many years and there's this much negative shit that happened, you know.
Yeah.
And then in the last few years, I've probably multiplied it, but because I do so much, you know. But I want this to be like this, and that to shrink, you know.
Bro, this is hectic.
So every time there's something negative, I got to do something twice as positive. Yeah.
We were talking about something interesting that I want to build on because it's interesting. I've got this sheet that we haven't even touched, which is awesome because we're just flowing. But the concept of, you know, wanting to like give back.
Yeah.
Like, is that something that's just in you as well?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like once my art got out there and people started like messaging me and saying like, oh, they're inspired by me. How did I do this? How did I do that? This is amazing. You know, like it just made me want to paint more, get more work out there because the feelings they're getting from my work, you know?
Yeah.
They say like, because when I paint, I try to put this energy into it and I look at it and I won't pull it down until like, you know, you can turn and look and go, oh, what?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
When I get that feeling in my chest, that's when I'll take the painting down. And then when I get people telling me they get that feeling, I'm like, fuck, I'm sending happiness out into the world, you know? Like,
do you know what's funny,
it's
bro?
awesome.
Because obviously my work's just e-commerce, so I just sell shit on the internet. But if it doesn't look beautiful and I don't feel that feeling of like, this is off its head, I don't even bother trying to sell it. Because if I'm not inspired
if you can't feel,
by
someone else won't feel it.
Correct. So do you just feed off that energy?
Yeah.
So you'll create these beautiful pieces, you'll get that feedback loop, and then I guess it's almost like what your audience tells you. Yeah.
It just snowballs. It's just like it just keeps growing, you know?
Do you feel like if you had unlimited time on this earth, you could just keep doing this?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You could do it forever.
Yeah.
And
like the second I put that first dot down,
Yeah.
like, I don't know why, it's like I just got zoomed into it, you know? And it's just crazy. Like, it's like I just went bang into a parallel universe, you know, and automatically I'm an artist. Like, it's so weird, you know. Like, I had all the power in jail. I had it all, you know. Like, I could tell anyone what to do.
Yeah.
But I'm in my room painting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
bro, it's so weird you say that because I was talking to
I was like, fuck you, I'm out of here, guys. See you later, you know. Like, I
was talking to one of my investors the other day about the same thing because I'm like, when I'm in my like grind mode and I'm creating products and we're just pushing them out there, I can just go into a universe and everything disappears and I can look at that screen and like literally everything blurs out and I just I lose track of time. I don't know if it's day or night and I can just go and go and go. Is that how you are with your paintings?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I don't I never know the time in there. I'll paint, do laps, like walk up and down, paint, you know. It's like I just can't keep painting. You have to look at it, and sometimes you don't know what to do. Sometimes it sits there for hours. Yeah, and you might just do one little line with a pencil, you know. But it's hard to explain.
Does the walking inspire the thought process of like thinking and thinking?
Yeah,
do you think better when you're walking?
Yeah, I think a lot. Yeah.
And you touched on a good point, which was you did that first dot in prison.
Yeah.
Was that, now correct me if I'm wrong, because I've seen a couple of podcasts. No podcast will be as good as this one because this will be the best in the world. But I remember there was one where you said you were in solitary and you would get visited by like a cockatoo or...
Oh, magpie.
Magpie.
Yeah.
Right. Is that when you started drawing?
Yeah. Nah.
No.
I was actually locked in with a few boys for three months, I think, about.
Yep.
And I started drawing them because we had no TV, nothing.
Right.
And I had... my silly was writing letters. Yep. I hate writing and shit. You know, I hate writing, hate reading. So I was like, I can draw. So
proper entrepreneur.
I'm just going to take my time. And I started doing these drawings that I'd never slowed down before to draw, you know. Like I'm always so just full on, like bang, 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 bang. It's so hard for me to relax or slow down.
Yeah.
But I get that with painting, you know. I can, as soon as I start, it's like I can be in it, you know.
So when did you get a brush to do that first?
So I was drawing there. We kept ringing the ombudsman to say, what the fuck are we locked in for?
Right.
We rang the Daily Telegraph, everyone.
What was the reason for you being locked in solitary?
They were just saying we're trouble. And anytime they'd move us, one of us, they'd lock the whole jail down. So we couldn't communicate with anyone. They thought I was the source of all the bupe coming into the jail.
Right.
Which is absurd, you know?
So they didn't put you in there just because you're like a good fighter.
Yeah,
and
I wasn't in Segro because there was no charge.
Right.
We were just locked in a pod in cells.
On suspicion.
Yeah.
No charge.
No charge. Every time we'd leave, it'd be like 30 screws would line up and we'd have to go one at a time past them.
Is that like the Andrew Tate situation at the moment? Because they're doing 6 months with no charge, right? Do you know much about that?
I know a little bit.
I know a little bit too, but all I know is that there's a rule in Romania where you can be held for a month at a time up to 6 months with no charge. So they're on month 4 or 5.
Oh, nah. So this was this was illegal. Definitely illegal.
But no, but the thing is, just so you know, apparently it's against one of the human rights codes where it's like you can be locked up, but you have to have a charge.
Yeah.
So they've been sitting there for 5 months without a charge. Yeah. So how did it feel for you?
They do it
in
in jail all the time. Like someone will do something and then the whole pod gets punished.
Right.
Which is, you can't do that, you know, that's wrong. So you can't punish everyone for someone's action.
For sure. So you were in solitary on suspicion.
Yeah, I spent 5 or 6 years in segregation all up. Right. And I think only one time I got charged, and that was for a phone.
And this is a dumb question, but solitary, is that another part of...
Segregation. Yeah.
Is Segro solitary or is it...
Same.
Really?
Segro is solitary, yeah. So you're by yourself.
You did that for 5 years?
Not straight, but
right, on and off.
Like 3 months here, 6 months. The longest was like, I did 3 months and then 13 months in the gang unit. So that was 16 months all up with no telly, isolation.
And was it the same story each time where it was like, we suspect this and therefore you're going to go...
Yeah, allegations,
Every time?
Yeah.
So year one...
Good order and discipline of the jail. That's their line, yeah.
Which one was this at?
Like, a lot of jails, yeah. Lithgow, Parkley, Silverwater, MWR.
Yep. So you did stints at all of those.
Long Bay, yeah.
And always the same story. You'll get a suspicion and then you go into solitary on the suspicion.
Yeah. Allegation. Or something will happen, you know, like I'll get locked in.
Didn't do anything for us? No.
I actually caused a... This is a good one.
Yeah, go, tell me.
This is so funny.
We're here for it.
I caused a riot from lock-in.
How'd you do that?
Yeah. So the story I told you before where that guy got stabbed heaps and I was on the camera, they locked me in for it. Everyone else was behind the sheet. I'm the only one locked in.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So what happened was this guy come up that pulled a blade on one of my friends a year before or something. I didn't notice, but he's come up to my door saying that he just moved up. He heard I was going home and he wanted to meet me and all this shit. I think he was just
the one that pulled a blade on you?
Nah, he pulled a blade on my mate like a year before, but I think he was just trying to get in the good books because he was a bit nervous.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, sweet bro, you're right, rah. He's went out there. And from my window, I can see the yard. So my mate's come up and he's like, hey, brother, I have to get this cunt now. He's like, he got me like shit. I said, bro, wait till after lunch. I said, he lives up here, bro. Just come up at lunch.
Yeah.
And he's going, no, he'll bail. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, he's like, can I, bro? And I'm like, fuck, I didn't give a fuck, bro. They locked me in. I told them not to lock me in.
Yeah.
I said, I can't control the yard if I'm not locked in.
Right.
So then, bang, he's gone over. He had a blade like that.
Your
pulled
mate?
it out on it out on old mate. Old mate for some reason put his hands in the air. Fucking stupidest thing I've ever seen.
How old was this guy?
Mick's gone bang, hit him in the liver.
Jeez.
Which was bad because like the blood was black or something, like coming out black.
Yeah.
Like dark as fuck. And then I think he went to hit him, it got him one more. But I don't think he wanted to do it that much, you know? Like he got done for it and that, but yeah, because he said he sort of pulled back. He expected him to sort of block it. So after this, the screws, everyone's come running in. This guy's over in the corner, you know, like they think he's dying or whatever. He's calling out for his mum.
Yeah.
I've got all the bupe. The boys usually get it at lunch, you know. Yeah. They're trying to lock everyone in.
Yeah.
Boys like, I'm not getting locked in without bupe, you know. So I'm like, boy, everyone upstairs, everyone. They can't stop you, you know. Just refuse to go downstairs.
Yeah.
So bang, they've all come upstairs. Now, they didn't leave. This is why it happened, but
How
it's the screw's fault.
How were you able to communicate,
because
though?
some boys went on that. I was at my window.
Right.
Yeah, I was at my window. All the boys were out in the yard.
Jesus Christ.
So they've come up, and they're like, nah, we're all going upstairs. And then the screw's like, all right, go, because they need to get the ambulance in there, you know?
Right.
Like, and they run up. One goes on this side, a few go on that side. The screws locked the doors quickly to separate us.
Yeah.
That's the only... If they didn't separate us, we wouldn't have fucking caused a little riot, you know?
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, fuck, you just want to play... And then they were like... I'm like, all right, boys, here we go. I said, put the fucking big trolley with all the sheets in that in front of the door, blocked it up, got the detergent, like the thick green stuff, slippery as, poured it over the whole floor, like 10 litres of it or something.
Yeah.
Everyone come down. I was like in there making cigarettes and... Because then the cigarettes were out, so you had to make them.
Yeah.
giving him bube. Everyone had their bube and that. Old mate's up there that stabbed him. He's going, bro, I'm going to the Supermax, all this shit. I'm not going to see ya. I could be doing 20. I think this guy's dead, like all this shit, you know. I'm like, fuck. And the boys are at the window going, let Paddo out. Let Paddo out. Like chanting and banging the bars and that.
The guy that got knifed, is he the one that wanted to talk to you? Or was it your mate?
He's the one that spoke to me and then went out to the yard. Yeah. Right. And now my mate's up.
Did you find out what he wanted to talk to you about?
And the boys are like, no, he's just saying that he wanted to meet me. Right. I think he just wanted to get in my good books so that he'd be sweet in the yard.
So he could avoid what happened before the riot. Jesus Christ.
And the boys are banging and they come up. They tried to come in the first time. They couldn't get in.
Yeah.
Well, the boys just held the shit, you know. And then so they've gone away. They just kept yelling out, let Paddo out, let Paddo out. I'm like, give us your key and we'll chuck it back out. They're like, no fucking way. We're trying to get me out, you know. But then everyone had their shit in that. Yeah. And then everyone calmed down, you know, because everyone's had bupe and they've had cigarettes. It's been 3 hours. Like, I think they just waited us out, you know. Right. And then, and after three or 4 hours, I was like, all right, boys. I said, everyone's got what they want. We're all sweet. They're like, fucking rah. So I was like, yeah, sweet, chief. I said, boys, just go in the cells and let them come in, you know? Yeah. So they can't attack you. Just sit in the cells. Yeah. Bang, so the boys have all sat in the cells. These cunts come running through going, ah! No one's even in there, mate. Everyone's in the cells, like, sitting down, you know? Yeah.
Really? What happened to the dude?
Everyone. So the dude, I don't know, he got taken to Westmead. He got his liver nicked. He survived, but he was in intensive care and that in there, And the other one that got stabbed a couple of days before, I don't know how he survived. He had so many holes in him. So I remember he walked out. Yeah. And he was like, there was blood everywhere. And I was like, bro, what are you doing?
And you made
sit in the shower. What are you doing,
mate? Put the thing in him. What did he end up getting in trouble for that?
Yeah,
or?
Yeah.
Big trouble?
He got 6 years, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of like,
yeah, sometimes it's harsh, sometimes it's not. Yeah. Like the boys that got me in the back, they only got 12 months.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think about
the fact? Weird.
Yeah, what do you think about the fact that
But if you kill someone in jail, you get automatic life.
Really?
Yeah.
Never to be released.
Yeah.
Dead set.
Yeah.
No parole, no nothing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I know you get life. Yeah.
It sounds like there's so many close calls.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, is it rare that someone will actually? Because they try. It sounds like what they tell the public is that they try to portray an image of like that doesn't really happen here, in the sense that, like, you know, you might have 100 of these stories, but they'll go out and their statistic will be, we've only had 1 death this year.
Yeah.
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 Do you think that you know, that's just kind of like a PR thing to say our jails are really nice and safe and
they wouldn't want to let out how many people get stabbed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. When it happened at Park Lee, GEO had actually taken over.
Right, GEO.
So they're not CSI corrective services; they're privately funded,
privately
really? Run now. Yeah,
I didn't know we had private ones.
Yeah, so they've got that. They were meant to get Cessnock as well, but they got Park Lee,
right?
Which they lost now to another company from England,
right?
But they do not know how to run it. And what happened was when they took over, CSI sent all the worst pricks they didn't want, you know, like everyone they didn't want, they sent to Park Lee. So Park Lee just had all the worst crim.
Really?
Yeah.
So they sent
I remember
it to the
going
private...
there thinking, how the hell did we all get in the same jail? Because there used to be a thing where they'd only put a couple of us around, you know, but fuck, there was so many of us.
So they sent all the bad ones to the private prison.
Yeah.
So Park Lee's still privatised now, is that right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Right, and that makes it worse?
Well, it does, because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. And I mean, there's also
like
profit
you can walk
incentive.
up to the gate and say, I need to go to the clinic. They just open it for you.
Really?
Like, no check, no nothing. You're like...
Did that like...
you got to tell them what to do, pretty much.
Really?
It's weird, yeah.
Did that like kind of inspire you to get up to more fuckery?
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So what about... So going back to that first dot. So you're in isolation and, you know, you're reaching out to the ombudsman and you're trying to get some sort of humanity in there. Who came and gave you a paintbrush to do a dot?
Oh, no. So the Pippa, 2-star, come down, threatened me. He said, if you ring the ombudsman again, I'm going to send you to Goulburn. And they'd intercepted a letter saying that they were going to get me. They were going to stab me or whatever.
At Goulburn?
Yeah.
Is that where you ultimately did get stabbed?
Yeah.
Or?
He sent me there.
No
2 days later, I got stabbed.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He knew. Yeah.
So you were in isolation.
Because as soon as he said that, as soon as we walked out, because I don't take threats, you know. I said, jump on the phone like instantly and ring the ombudsman. Like instant, you know, like fucking threaten me, you gronk. So then the next day, Paddison, you're on escort.
So hang on. So you're in isolation at Park Lee.
Silverwater.
Right. And you call the ombudsman or whatever. You're trying to change your conditions.
Trying to get out of this locking because it's been 3 months and we got no charge. Like,
and
we
so
don't know what
they hear about
for.
this
and
they say, we don't like what you're doing.
Yeah, because the ombudsman's asking them why are they locked in.
And and then they say, we know that you're not liked over here, so we're going to place you over here.
Yeah.
And you just had to go over there.
Yeah. But oh no, well I had a choice. I could have went in another yard.
Yep.
But in my head, they're all my yards. Like back then, you know, like a power tripper. Yep. Like every yard's mine. Yeah. So I was like, nah, put me in that yard. Their yard, you know.
So you got put in Goulburn. Yeah. And then
I walked straight up to all three of them.
And you knew that was gonna. You had a feeling that was gonna happen to you.
I'd been told. Yeah. I walked up to all three of them. I was like, "Hey boys, what are you doing?"
What was the disagreement about?
They were like this. Hey, bro.
What was the disagreement with these guys over? Because I think I know just from some of the stories I've heard you tell.
No, well, I've had dramas with them always. They're white supremacy.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. This is another story that I like about you.
And I used to tell the boys if they're there, like, fuck, they're your puppets, bro. I hate them.
Yeah, so we actually have that here, like people like that.
Yeah.
But surely, like, I also love that you have a code where it's like, I mean, let me give you an example. You've seen instances where people will break their moral code because they want to impress someone or because they feel intimidated or whatever. Yeah. What I've noticed about you is you don't break your code for anyone. Yeah. And what I see in this theme is that, like, you go into this place and you've got the problem with these people who have morals that you just don't agree with. Yeah. Like, that still doesn't bend or break your code, right? Yeah. And so you ultimately copped 9 knives in the back because of that. How'd that feel?
Just walk into the fire, bro.
That's insane, but it's just like, it's...
I didn't, do you know what? When it happened, I just wanted to get them, you know? Like, fucking... Yeah.
So you really like won't take a backward step to anything in life?
Nah. Yeah. Like, just bang, and I was like... In my head, I'm just like, you're fucking dead, cunt. You're dead, you're dead, you know? And I'm thinking, I'm going to get you.
What ended up happening to these people that jumped you?
One of them got hot watered. One of them, so they went in, they did their SEGRA or whatever, and then all 3 of them went to NA for like 18 months. Right. They refused to come out to the yards. Yep. Because what happened was they got on the Xannies and the Coke. Xannies and the ice. Yeah. And then that's when they did it. Right. Before that, they didn't have the balls, you know, like they're standing there going, hey, bro. Yeah. And then even when they did, like, there's 3 of yous, I turn around and one of yous is like 50 meters away in 2 seconds. Like, how did that happen? But in my head, I was just like, I knew, like, not that I knew, I was just so confident. I was like, fuck, these cunts can't kill me. There's no fucking way. Yeah. So when they told me, wait there, I was like, no way. Like, I'm not getting dragged out of here, like on a wheelchair or like have the ambulance come here. Yeah. So I just stood up and started walking. And they were all like, because they didn't want to touch me because I was just red. Yeah, yeah. I remember I walked out a yard, just looked straight down at them. I was just staring at them, you know. I was thinking, you're fucking dead, cunt. My mate called out to me. He's like, hey, brother, you right? I said, yeah, brother. All good, brother.
This is when you're covered in red.
Yeah, I'm all red. And I was just standing there staring, you know, and the screw's going, hurry up, quick. And I was just walking, you know, like casually. And in my head, I'm just like plotting revenge, you know.
Did you have to spend time? How long did you spend in hospital after that?
Oh, like 4 days.
And did you have to go in for surgery?
Nah, like so they flew me to Goulburn because, Canberra, sorry. Yep. They needed the scanner to see what had been hit, right? An MRI scanner or something. They didn't have it. They didn't have it at Goulburn. Right. Yeah.
So you get airlifted out there, or
helicopter. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I can imagine you being like, "This is mad. I got a helicopter."
My life. This is the one thing, bro. This thing is crazy. So the helicopter was.
I love that you just don't give a fuck about the knives. You're like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, bro. Oh no, but I was half out. Yeah. So I could hear this, right, but. Every single time that went, my thought would change. So because I was on ketamine, it sent me into this trip. Right. I was in like a cable, and every time that went, I was going turn. Really? And bro, I thought, shit, I've died. I'm going to find something, you know? Really? Because of that sound, like and I'm like, fuck, they're trying to put me in another body or something, like, you know, like I'm in the fucking Matrix or whatever. I'm going, like, you know.
You were like you
I was in some circuit, yeah, and my thoughts would. Although I had this overthought where I could still think and know what was going on, my thoughts it's like I had 2 thoughts going. Like every second they were changing. Yeah. And I couldn't think about anything, but I had the thought, like knowing what was happening.
And after you'd recovered from this, had the art started prior to this or did it start after this?
After. So I come back, they put me in the other yard. I walked straight up to the fence and started doing legs. Like no effect, you know? Yeah. Like I just stared straight at their yard and started doing legs. Yeah, and then I was like, went in with my mate who draws as well, which was lucky. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll draw. So a week later I had caught back in Sydney, so they've sent me back to Silverwater. Yeah. At Silverwater, they take your pencil case, your pencils, like, and I'm like, I had them up in the other pod, but when I come back through, they took them. So I was like, all right, my mate was painting a mural on the office. He's an Aboriginal artist. Yeah. And then I was like, fuck, because I had a bunch of ice and fucking all this shit. I knew I'd be partying. I'm up all night. So I got some paint off him. And that's how it happened, you know. I was just like, got some paint, got a brush, and I didn't even know how to use the brush. So what I did was I started doing dots like him.
Right.
And I did a Viking, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I've got the picture because I had a phone in there.
Do you know what?
I did it on the wall in there, so I've got the picture, yeah.
I have a question and a comment. The comment is, it feels very similar to the Hollywood story of like when 50 Cent gets shot and then he goes and starts like writing lyrics out of hospital.
Yeah.
Like, you know, here's a guy that really shouldn't be alive.
Yeah.
And the universe is giving him another chance, and he just goes on to be one of the most successful. He's actually one of the most successful businessmen. Yeah. Over there, that like, just I think his mindset, he's got that winning culture. He's got that you don't complain about stuff. I've read a couple of his books. It's incredible. But it's almost a similar sort of story, man, in the sense that, like, do you ever feel that, you know, had that not happened, there could be a world where you may not have picked up that brush?
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
And do you ever feel that, like, even though you could have lost your life that day, instead of that happening, it's taken you to this path where you've been given a brush. And look at you now.
Sent me into another dimension. Yeah, like,
is that weird
crazy,
to think about?
Yeah. It's like I could have been dead and my whole life would have been based on I was just a criminal, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But then I flipped that, you know? Now I've flipped that.
Good,
man.
Yeah. I always tell people, particularly when they come to me with problems, like, you know, I've had, because we sponsor rappers and I've had them call me, I've been stabbed, can I have some cash? I'm like, oh, man, here you go. Like, but sometimes I say to people, you know, what may seem like the worst thing that's happened in your life at this point, you don't know. This could turn out to be the best thing that's ever happened to you. But you are not going to know until you push forward.
A lot of good things come out of that.
100%. Man, some of the best things in my life have come from some of the worst things.
And everyone asks me, like, oh, how did it feel like that? And I don't know. I think I look for the good in things. Yeah. So I don't see any bad from it. Yeah. I'm just like, yes, I got to go on that helicopter, which changed my fucking brain, the way I think, you know, like. It sent me into another universe, you know? And then I feel like maybe, like all of that happened so that I could see the bad, you know? So I've seen the bad. So when I did my art, it was so easy for me to see the good. Right. Whereas a normal person that's free all the time and they've lived their whole life, you know? Yeah. They must start painting, but they don't, you know, they don't feel that. But me, I've been like, I've had nothing. I've been in the dark places, you know, just pure violence, you know? Yeah. And then to come into, you know, just light and colour and fun. And, you know, like I feel like I experience it, like it's intensified in me.
Do people ever tell you that your art speaks to them?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of sound weird for me to talk about it like this. When I listen to your art, like that's what I'm hearing from it.
Yeah.
Because it does kind of represent a symbol of someone who has gone through darkness to find colour.
Yeah,
you know, and that's really your whole life, man. Yeah, it is,
and it's weird you say. I feel like that too.
No, I was just saying it. It like the art feels like it was created by someone who has gone through the darkness and come out and seen the color, and that's how it speaks to me. Yeah. Your art, it jumps out.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, sorry.
Because I got ADHD, so I know how to bring these thoughts back.
Yeah. When I was doing my paintings, I couldn't figure them out for ages, and I was like, "Fuck, really? I just love doing this," you know, and then. I was looking at it I think it was a pink dinosaur or something, and you know, there might have been a unicorn.
I think they're my two favourite ones, bro.
Yeah. And I'm looking around, I'm thinking, holy shit, this is just me. Like, these are portraits. Yeah. I was like, fuck, this is me. Like, this is what's inside me. Like, these are portraits. This is the only way I can explain them. Like, this energy and that, like, what's there, like, that just comes, that's in here, you know?
It's almost like you've gone through life, man, as this, like, for lack of a better word, like a soldier type of character.
Yeah.
You know, and you've had to fight for everything you've ever had. Yeah. And I even remember, like, a while ago, you were like, you know, as a kid, the people in your area that had money, that had things were like the drug dealers, the standover men. So, you know, all you've ever seen is like, if you want something, you just got to go take it. Yeah. You know, and if you don't have it and it's being withheld, then you got to fight to get it. Yeah. And so you've gone through life, you know, surrounded by like gangsters, drug dealers, standover men, chaos, crime, violence. Yeah. This is your world. Yeah. And you've walked through it like with this armor that seems to be impenetrable.
Yeah.
But, and this is why I love having this chat with you, like throughout that journey, there's always been this other thing inside of you, and you've somehow managed, which is incredible, to carry that from your childhood through your adolescence into your adulthood.
Through and it's all that darkness, I kept it in there. Yeah,
and it's like this. What are those? The knights, you know?
Yeah.
They've got steel armor and they've got the head helmet and everything, but there's still a person under there.
Yeah.
And it's like you've gone through your whole life wearing this armor to survive this environment.
I played the character.
Correct. But like, you know, that character's kept you alive. Believe it or not, it has.
Yeah, I'm very good at reading people.
Yep.
So that like helped me a lot, you know. Like I can put on a show and know what they're thinking.
Yeah, you know how to handle yourself in any environment, which is I think part of the reason why you're doing so well now, because you know, you're getting contacted from people all over the world. But it's through that dark journey with that armor, with that thing inside you, it's almost like this is the first time in your life you can take a little bit of it off.
Yeah.
You know, do you feel like that?
Yeah.
So you can, I'll take off the helmet now.
Yeah.
Oh, I can breathe.
Yeah.
I might take this one off. I might take that one off. And you can just kind of like be yourself a little bit. And, you know, you'll, in the same way, you've always carried that like protective, good, you know, karma-driven type of empathetic person that can read people and that's got that vibrance. You carry that. Like, you know, I'm sure if something hectic happened, that night can still come out. But for now, he's not really needed, right?
Yeah.
Like for now, it's like you can express that part of you for the first time.
Yeah.
It's like you've been reborn or something.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I've said that a few times. I said I don't know if in like 10 more years am I going to be another character. I feel like I've played all these characters in my life, you know. Like,
I think.
But I like this one.
Yeah. I think like more existentially in the sense that, like, you know, we've all got limited time on this earth.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not going to be around forever, but I wanted to create businesses and opportunities so that the people below me can pick that ball up and run with it.
Yeah.
Because then when I leave the earth, there's going to be other people that can carry that on.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a business can last forever.
Yeah.
Art can last forever.
Yeah.
So I think for you, you know, it feels like to get that eternal existence, like the more people your art inspires, the more you're going to kind of spread that.
Yeah.
So that when you're not on this earth anymore, your presence will be felt.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that's mentoring people. Yeah. You know, who knows?
And there's like good energy attached to them, you know, like to the paintings.
Cool. So I want to pick back up where we were talking about, you know, like ambitions kind of like, you know, beyond now.
Yeah.
And it's cool because we're at that like fourth chapter. Because we're at the start, we're like, we're going to chop this up.
Yeah.
Fucking wild ride, man. So on that chapter 4 of the art where you're like, am I going to be another character? I don't know. I don't think you will be, but what are your thoughts? Like, I feel like this is the final boss.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, the final boss. Yeah.
This is the last level.
Yeah.
And it's a good level to be
mad
at.
Level, yeah.
I mean, part of the ending questions where I'll like go through and kind of drill down a little deeper is like, you know, where do you want to be in 10 years? But for you, like, I mean, the sky's the limit with this thing. Like, how high do you think you can take this is probably a better question.
Yeah, I beat Picasso.
Yeah.
Number 1, yeah.
That's
like,
That's it.
That's the only way I go, you know. Like, that's how I've been my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, I have to win.
Yeah.
I have to, So I just picked, like from the start, I picked Picasso because I thought he's the most known around the world.
Yep.
Most famous, so I just got to beat him.
Right.
Yeah.
And
you beat him, you beat everyone.
That's so good. And how long ago was he around?
Oh, in the 1900s, I think he died like 40 years ago.
40 years ago?
Yeah.
So in this last 100 years?
In the 1900s, he was around, yeah.
And we're still talking about him?
Yeah.
Yeah, they say, and I'll give you another quote, they say, a man dies twice, once when his heart stops, and the second time, last time someone mentions his name. Has someone said that to you?
Yeah.
Does that kind of sit with you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
How does it feel to know that, like, these artworks all around the world, they're going to be there forever?
Yeah.
You know, 1,000 years from now, some person in China could park their space plane at their hover building and like there'll be a Nathan Paddison artwork
floating off the wall. Just
how does that
suspended.
feel? Yeah, but bro, like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, you're creating stuff that's going to outlive you.
Yeah.
And, you know, the best thing you can do in that regard is to create kids, which you've done.
Yeah.
But you're creating something that's going to last forever. How does that feel?
Awesome, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially now that I'm getting the recognition.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, you know, this early in my career as an artist, so imagine in like 5 or 10 years, you know, I'm going to be at that stage I've already been in a Sotheby's auction, you know, biggest auction house in the world.
When were you in there?
December.
Dead set.
Yeah, and it sold.
But bro, you're only like, what, a couple of years really into this now?
Yeah. Like everyone else in there's been an artist for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years,
bro,
or they're dead.
That's like kicking a 2-year-old into a swimming pool and then they're in the Olympics.
Yeah, yeah.
God, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So the Sotheby's auction, where was that one held?
In Hong Kong.
Was it just the one piece?
Yeah, just a tiger, yeah.
Yep.
But for them to even accept it,
yeah,
they won't accept anyone that's, you know, that's a nobody or if they don't have good prices or they haven't sold at other auctions, you know, so you have to have a good thing just for them to accept it.
That's impressive, man.
I just come back from Korea too.
Right.
Korea and Japan, yeah.
How was Korea and Japan?
Did a solo there. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Because, like, in Australia, I'm not that popular yet, like, as I am in Korea and Taiwan.
Yeah.
So, in Korea, man, like, I went in there and there was just walking in there and seeing people, they actually treated me like I was famous. They were like going,
really?
Hugging me, like blushing.
Does your Instagram show your
everything.
Geographic analytics in terms of where your audience are, like across the world?
Yeah, if I look into it, yeah.
Does it have like an Asian skew to?
Yeah, it's like Seoul, the Seoul and Taiwan and Sydney and Melbourne are like the top 4.
Right.
Yeah.
So
but when they go to countries, it's like United States, Taiwan, Australia, Korea, or something. Yeah. But Taiwan and Korea, yeah.
How did because you were there with your girlfriend?
Yeah.
She must have thought that was pretty surreal. Oh,
Yeah.
fiance, congratulations! How long till you guys get married?
Oh, we don't know.
You ain't gonna figure it out. You got millions of artworks to sell.
Yeah.
That must have been surreal for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. She loved it over there. Yeah.
And she's been a big support of the journey, I believe.
Yeah.
I remember you were telling me.
So I met her just when I started, you know, and I was still selling online. Yeah. So
Tari.
Yeah.
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 And so she's been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
You gotta hang on to her, bro.
Yeah, 100, 100.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a similar story because I started the first business and got done over for like 100K. It was all the money I had.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend, I remember, stop me if I told you this story before, but I was like, oh, we're broke. I was so stressed. I was like, everything's like, we're fucked. We've got no money. She's like, we'll be all right. I'm like, how? Why do you think that? She goes, oh, you'll figure something out. I'm like, how do you think that I'm going to be able to figure anything out? She's like, yeah, well, you'll figure it out. And she was not stressed. Had no stress whatsoever. I mean,
my girl's like that too when I stress.
Yeah. But if you draw a parallel, bro, like,
I think we work better under stress too. As soon as the stress comes, it's like, bang, we know what to do now, you know? Like,
do you put a lot on yourself as well?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I think it's Beck, right?
Yeah.
I think with Beck, even you know, you could have wound up with a bird who's like, oh, painting. He's like, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Here's a good question for you. Do you find having a supportive partner has helped you a lot to get where you are?
Yeah. Like, my painting totally changed when I met her. And then it just blew up,
So it really is a reflection of the path of your life.
It is. If you look at my artworks, and then when I meet her, it just, like, blows up. And I start joining with galleries. Then when before my daughter, like when we found out my daughter was a girl, it just went fucking boom.
Really?
It's like the energy in me and the love and the happiness all came out on the art, you know, and it just, that's how it works,
Man.
Because, you know, I have this thing where
I'm goosebump like, stuff, man.
I'm an artist, you know, I'm not a painter.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people out there would just
I love that
paint things that look nice for someone to hang on their wall, you know, and they just do it again and again and again. Like, I just can't do that, you know. Yeah. Even if you look at one of my exhibitions, they're like, it's like a ADHD exhibition.
Yeah. You might have a little bit, bro, just so you know.
Yeah, I know.
Because I think Da Vinci had it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of successful people have it. So, yeah.
And they just, but their show will be like, you know, very similar stuff.
Yeah.
So they got like 15, 20 works similar. But you go into mine, I got a pink dinosaur, I got a Queen of Hearts, Louis Vuitton, dinosaur over there, a crocodile, a unicorn.
But that's what I love about your artwork and even your Instagram page. It's just bursting out of the phone. Like it's just. I think
that's what I feel like. It's like popcorn. Like, like it just wants to get out. It's just overflowing, you know?
But this is not a bad problem to have, man. Nah. Like, this is a good problem to have. I call it weaponized ADHD. Because people are like, why have you got 7 businesses and an agency and a talent head? I'm like, well, because if I get bored, I do something productive and I start a business. If you get bored, you just go and paint. So it's like weaponized.
I can't get bored,
same.
That's what I tell me, because my psyche even is trying to tell me how to relax. And I'm like, this is so slow.
Bro,
like, I don't know how to do it.
My psych tells me to do that as well.
I've realised that I cannot sit down for 5 minutes, even just and sit there.
But the thing is, man, I feel like your girlfriend probably will understand you more than the psych, because I see mine, and my psych's a great dude, don't get me wrong, but he's like, you got to slow down. I'm like, yeah, but what if I don't want to? You know, what if I enjoy being like this? Yeah. And what if people who don't enjoy it can fuck off? Yeah. And people who embrace it, come be a part of the family. Yeah. But I think that, in this world, you got to have people around you who believe in you and who support you. Yeah. Because, because
then it changes.
100%.
Just like my art did.
100%.
Yeah. She knew nothing about art. She was like, sort of, laughing, like probably behind my back and like showing people like, this is what he does. It's so weird, eh? Like,
but isn't it beautiful?
Back then I was painting people with upside down heads and
bro, isn't
like
it beautiful that she's just stuck for the whole journey?
Yeah,
though?
she didn't care. She probably seen that and thought, oh my God, I don't think you're going to sell anything. But she's been there the whole time.
How good is it? The people who support you in the struggle that share in the success. Yeah. How does that feel for you?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Because she's like she's there. I buy her so much shit. Get her so much shit.
Bit of Burberry.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of Louis.
It's like, and now it's come to a point like the longer I've been an artist, it's like now I actually have time. Like when I started, I felt like I was catching up for the last 20 years. So I had to put in all these extra hours, and I'm thinking, all right, this guy's got 20 years experience. He's done 2,000 paintings. Like shit, I've done 10. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was always in my head. And for like a year or a year and a half until I joined the gallery, I was just pumping them out so fast. Like daily I'd have one or two,
Really? And you're still banging out like good amounts every week.
Yeah.
I keep drawing these parallels between you and rappers.
Yeah.
But before he died, there's footage of Tupac in the studio and he's just recording. Like, you got to stop. He's like, nah, and he's recording and it's like 2 a.m., 4 a.m. And like, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know how much time I have left in this world. And he goes, every hour that I'm not doing this, or that I'm sleeping, or that I'm just not creating, is an hour that when I'm no longer here, this art will not exist. So he's like, I need to get all of it out of me while it's here, and I need to continuously get it out of me. And he had this prophetic thing where, like, I don't know if he knew his time was coming or whatever, but he would ruthlessly create. And I think for you, it's like, you're creating to make up for lost time. And you're still going to have a good time on this earth. His was the reverse, because it was almost like he was creating for future lost time that he thought he was never going to have.
He's creating for his legacy.
Correct. Do you ever feel like you're creating for your legacy?
Well, sometimes, but I just, I think that...
Maybe the legacy is a byproduct of the creating.
Yeah. Like, I love the creating, and I do extras, and I make sure that, I put some away for my daughter and that, so that...
Oh, man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, do you have, like, a storage place for that, or...?
Oh, at home, I've got heaps, you know? So that I know that... And now I've started releasing less and less paintings. Yeah. And not doing as many, because then the price will go up. There'll be people waiting, try and get it up heaps,
Yeah.
And the other ones that I do, because I love painting, I'm just saving them for her.
That's so good.
So that when these prices go up and I'm gone, she can just pull out a painting and that pay her for the next 3 years.
Is that I love that,
she's got 100 of them.
Is there like a safe storage place where you can put that?
Oh yeah, I can get a safe storage. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because a lightning bolt or something like that. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of money too. Yeah. What advice would you give to people who are kind of still surrounded by those like negative type of individuals who may not believe in their journey, who may be holding them back, who maybe think what they're doing is stupid? Like, what do you?
If you can't ignore them, then you need to get away from them. Yep. Do you know what I mean? Because eventually, if you're going to go and succeed at something, then people won't be there anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have new people because your energy is going to be totally off theirs. Yeah. Yeah. If people are like trying to put you down or hold you down, you got to separate yourself. And if you live with them, whatever, you got to ignore them. If you can't, like, you know what I mean? You got to get into the headspace of only positive, and then you'll attract the people too. Yeah. Yeah. Do
you think those people...
You can't be around negative people if you want to succeed.
I tell everybody that, bro. Do you think those people can coexist at all? Or, like, to your point, if you've got to live with someone, like, do you think the strategy is just to block it out mentally?
Yeah. Just, like, you can do that, but then there's always going to be this little, like... little 10% or whatever, that you're not getting because that energy's still right there.
So you reckon you got to be all in?
Yeah, all in.
Just pure positivity. Like, that's hectic.
That's what I do, bro. Like I do with everything, Like even when I learned jiu-jitsu, because the first fight, I'd been to one training session or two, you know. So I was like, fuck, I don't know this.
Against the 7-0.
I was on YouTube, fucking learning moves. I just practicing I put a jumper on my pillow, I remember.
Yeah.
Went out into the lounge room, put YouTube on, started searching up moves. Went into the gym. The third time I went in, tapped out a purple belt. Yeah. Triangle choked him, and they were like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Nah, how long you been doing this, Rara?" I was like,
you're
and then I told him, I said, "Listen, the last 3 or 4 days, I've probably put in about 40 hours on the YouTube, you know."
Put in 40 hours.
Yeah, I get that intense into it. Like I couldn't handle going and getting tapped out either there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was the newest person there. Everyone knew what they were doing. I had no idea, you know.
Yeah.
People are tapping me out. I'm like,
so you get driven by that failure, right?
Yeah.
Does that another thing that will fuel you?
Knock me down. I'm gonna leap up. Like I'm not just gonna get back up. I'm gonna fucking jump back.
But you do that with life as well. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. 100%.
So you use that, like whether it's failure, whether it's defeat, whatever it may be. That's fuel for you.
Yeah, fuel. Yeah,
that's active.
It's all fuel. Everything's fuel.
So this will be the last one. What advice would you give to anyone starting out in art, business, martial arts, whatever it may be, like, who may be lacking a bit of confidence? Like, if you could give yourself advice when you were painting those first dots, when you're, you know, just your first little drawings and your vision's here, but you're here, what advice would you give to people in that situation?
Oh, you got to keep that vision. Always have your goal there. Like, you know what I mean? If you don't focus, you have to actually believe in it 1,000,000%, you know? Like, you have to believe that that's yours, that's where you're going, you're going to be there, that's it, done. Do you know what I mean? None of this, you know, after a week or so, you're like, oh, fuck, why didn't that work? As soon as you say that, you're back to the start, you know, because you're not confident. As soon as you question yourself, you're not confident. You know what I mean? So you need to have that confidence, but you need to 100% put yourself in there. Do you know what I mean? And if you don't have that confidence now, when you put yourself in there 100% and you start, you know, you do the little goals, they'll give you the confidence. That'll feed you, you know. As soon as you start succeeding with these little bits, the little steps, the first steps, you know what I mean? You're halfway there now. You know what I mean? And then you've got your confidence.
That's awesome, man.
Like, don't worry about your confidence. Just do the steps and it'll come. Yeah.
And you reckon confidence in yourself, despite what, like, you know, my art's not good enough, my fighting style's not good enough, my business, like, regardless of the product you're trying to create, do you think the confidence in the person creating, like, do you think it's confidence in the creator?
Yeah.
Is that what drives it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Doubt is a big, like, blocker, you know?
Yeah, but by putting that fuel into the creator, confidence in yourself, you know? I can win the fight. I can create what I want to create. Yeah. This one might not be perfect. The next one's going to be better. Yeah. The next one's going to be better.
And visualize, you know, visualization is a really good thing. Picture yourself there. Do you know what I mean? Like, picture yourself on a yacht or wherever you want to be, you know, at the head of the boardroom talking, you know? Yeah, same, yeah.
I remember when...
I visualize it and it comes because I know I'm getting that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's mine. As soon as I think it's fucking mine. 100%. I don't give a fuck what anyone says, you know? That's mine. Yeah, and that's it. I'm going for it. I'm getting it.
That's the best,
end of story, yeah. There's no why didn't this happen? Why didn't that happen? That's mine, 100%.
Just get at it.
Yeah. Take it.
Nathan Paddison. It's a 10 out of 10 podcast, brother.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks so much, man. I love that. It's beautiful.